Facebook Live, so we're live on Facebook. If you guys want to say hi to Facebook Live. And then I realized I couldn't even do my handwriting. So, like a rapper, that was my first thing. I wanted to just be a performer. So, it didn't work out. So we're going to relive my teenage fantasy real quick. So, I'm not going to rap. But you know the rappers they get on stage, they're like, hey, when I say this, you say that. So we're going to do that right now, okay? So when I say B, you gotta make me feel cool, okay? B. B. Steve, thank you so much. That's all. So Jessica was sharing, so by the way, I got really down a lot, but just to share a little bit about my story. And I remember that, I was actually pretty wealthy, but we were cut out from the family wealth because they didn't like my mom, which was my dad's wife, right? And that was his son. And so we got cut off from family wealth, and so while they were really large, we were in this there was no doors, none of that. I didn't see grass for the first time until I was 5 years old. And my brother and I used to, for fun, my older brother and I used to just drag rocks and try to go kill rats. That's all I did for fun. There was nothing else to do. And one time we were in kindergarten school, and there was these terrorists on the roof, and parents had to come pick up their kids, and that's when my parents were like, okay, we do whatever we can to get out of here. So they sold everything they had, and they came here to the States, and they started from scratch, not speaking the language. My parents were college graduates, they didn't have any connections. So they came here, they started from scratch, literally landing in Logan, Utah, and my father he would buy used bicycles, and then he would resell them. He could buy a bicycle for $5, fix it up, sell it for $20 or whatnot, and so that's how they began their journey. And I'm proud of my parents because now today they did the whole, hey, let's save 10%, put it away years and years, and eventually they invested it, and eventually they started to own their own companies, and then they just kind of made it to where they're at today. And so it was a really good example for me, different from anyone in my family. And how did I get here? To this year is $1 million year for us, and that's kind of crazy, right? I mean,
woo!
It's pretty wild, but what I'll tell you is I'm self-made, and when I say I'm self-made, I don't mean hey, look at me, I'm not saying in an arrogant way, but what I mean, of course, it's God and family and all that, and people. Myself, I started from scratch as well. Someone was asking me today, hey, how do I build a bigger team, or I don't have that many contacts. No one that is here today I've ever worked with in the past. I've never had any of you guys in any prior organization. It all started from scratch. It all started from what Demetrius was teaching today, little messages sent out every single day. But I was just a normal kid with abnormal dreams. That was really my thing. How many of you guys here have abnormal dreams? Raise your hands. Maybe you don't, but that's okay if you don't. But I had abnormal dreams, so I was kind of weird growing up. But it's fascinating to me because we live in this internet world. Nowadays we live in this online world where most of us don't really know what's going on in people's lives, right? Because it's just social media. It's almost like a filtered world, right? And so my biggest advice is as you see different people coming up here, is say, hey, you know what? You're okay just the way you are, right? You don't have to be me or Demetrius or anybody. You can just be yourself. God made you the way you're supposed to be for a specific reason. The way that you can touch someone's lives is probably not the way I can touch someone's lives. We're all very different, and that's what I love about this business is it's not the same personality, it's so many different people, and because of that, we can actually reach more people. So, when I was little, I wanted something ever since I was a little boy, I just wanted something big in life. I don't know what it was, but there was just something I didn't want to follow the normal rules of society, right? Now, I don't know how many weird ones out there, but how many of you are weird like me? You don't want to just be normal. And that's okay, because we're round, what is it, round, whatever, I can't even remember that quote. Yeah. So what I mean by I didn't want to go by the normal rules of society is basically my whole thing was hey, like I understand that you go to college, and I understand that you can have a job, and then I understand that you can work at it for 40 years and then retire for a third of what you were making, and then most people, that's not even enough to afford the lifestyle anymore, and so then people have to cut back on certain things, and I just didn't want to live that life. I refuse to live in just like a square. Most of us are all in a square, right? Like we go to school in a square classroom, right? We're at a cubicle type of square, and then when we die in a square, like we're buried in a square coffin, right? Kind of like a square. And so I didn't want to do that. I really wanted to live my life differently. Like I had bigger goals and dreams. How many of you guys right now have just one thing out there? How many of you guys have like goals and dreams? And why is that the reason why you're here today? Right? That was a big reason why. And so for me, it's like the first thing that you have to start off with is understanding that your brain is literally like a magnet. You can magnetize yourself to certain things that will allow you to bring it into your world a lot faster and a lot more effortless. So I'll prove that to you. Like if you go, like what do you think would happen? Like from here, like if you leave this event today, it's like October 24th is like 21 days away, right? So if you go for 21 days straight, and you say, hey, for the next 21 days, I'm going to wake up in the morning, and I'm going to take an elevator, and I'm going to drink water, okay? And throughout the day, I'm going to chug on a lot of water as well. And at night, I'm going to take my accelerate. During the day, I'm going to go for a walk. During the day, I'm going to keep the TV off. During the day, I'm going to immerse my brain into powerful audios. During the day, in the moments where I feel frustrated, I'm going to look at my vision board. What do you think is going to happen when you start to get your blood flowing differently? What do you think is going to happen when you start to see different images every single day? When you start to listen to different voices every single day? What do you think is going to happen to your world? Maybe not immediately, but what do you think is going to start to happen over time? I love that. So you're going to start to be able to create more abundance a lot faster. And to me, like that's where it starts off. Until you get this right, nothing else is going to work for you. You can come here and pick up all the techniques you want. You can come here and go invite 100 people, whatever it is. But until you get your brain vibrating at the right frequency, and it is all a frequency, like even as I'm speaking to this on this microphone, how does it connect to this speaker? Because it's linked to the right frequency that allows my voice to be broadcasted on this speaker. Right? When you turn the radio station to a different station, what you're simply doing is you're changing the frequency from one station to the other station that's going to capture it to play the kind of music that you want to play. When I learned these things earlier on, I realized that I could create my own world, and I did. Like the craziest fascination in my life is like, how crazy is it that we can literally go onto Google Images today and type in something that we want? Maybe it's a brand new pair of shoes, maybe it's a brand new dress for the ladies, maybe who knows what it is. But did you know that if you print out those pictures, those images, and you put them on your wall, like they're in my wall in my office, and I stare at them I don't have a dress on my wall, by the way, but I stare at those things, what begins to happen is I start to bring more things into my world. So when I started business, like when we started the Epic, the first question wasn't who am I going to go recruit, what am I going to say, how am I going to do it. The first thing is like, okay, what do I want to create? And I wrote down specific financial goals. I went on Google and I typed in certain things that I wanted to achieve for my family, and I printed those off. I put them in a little affirmation goal card, and I kept it in my pocket. Right? And I kept reading that over and over and over and over again, and there's not one single thing that has not happened when I said it would happen. And so as I was resetting my mind for a new vision sheet, like what do I want my next 12 months to look like, it was so difficult to think of what I really wanted because there's not really much that, I'm the luckiest man in the world. Like, I have a beautiful wife, I have beautiful kids, I have an amazing business, I have amazing people in my life, I have good health. Like, how important is good health, right? Like, health is always so important. Like, there's not much more that I can really ask for, but what I challenge every single one of you to do is figure out what you really want in life and really map it out. Like, if you go to a banker today and you say, hey, listen, I need a loan for $100,000 because I'm going to start this thing. Did you know that they're going to ask you, like, what's your financial plan? And you have to respond like, okay, this is what I expect is going to happen the first year of business. This is the marketing plan. This is how I'm going to put everything together. Because then and only then will they say, okay, here's $100,000. Because no one's just going to hand you $100,000 unless there's an actual plan behind it. And what I see so many times in people in network marketing is like, they really don't have a plan. They're just hoping to get lucky. So they make a few posts on Facebook and they maybe get a customer, or maybe they get 10 customers and then it slows down. But they don't really have a specific roadmap. They don't really have a business plan. They haven't mapped it all out, because it's true what they say. Most people just spend more time planning out their vacations than they do planning out their futures. And so here's what led me to these thoughts this morning. There's a couple things, right? There's two major things that happened to me when I was 13 years old that like shifted it all for me. And so I'm grateful for these lessons, right? It's like in the moment, sometimes you're not grateful for the things happening, because it's not until later on that you can connect the dots, right? So for me, when I was 13 years old, it was like 6 in the morning. I woke up and we're eating breakfast. It was my dad and my older brother. We were the ones that had to wake up earlier in the day, and we were getting ready for school. And I heard a pound at the door, and it was like a really loud pound. It almost like sounded like that used just from the beginning of like the pound, like the way. So it's like when someone calls you on the phone, and just when they say something, you don't even know what they're saying, but just their tone of their voice, you're like, what's going on, right? So I'm 13 years old. I heard this pound at the door, and it's immigration. They're there to deport me and my family back to Peru, because what had happened is when you're like in that kind of world, like when you're an immigrant, the downside to it is that like a bunch of lawyers are money hungry, so they'll just take your money, they won't even do the work, right? And so we ran into those situations where we gave up, or my parents gave out money to lawyers, they didn't do the work, we didn't even know we had to be letters of deportation, and so they were there to take us back, right? And it's crazy because, so they're sitting there pounding the door, and like, we don't know what to do, but they know we're home, right? Like our cars are there, right? Some of the lights in the house are on, so they know we're home, so they're not leaving. And so my father said, so my mom wakes up, my younger brother wakes up, and my father says, hey, you guys need to go downstairs to the basement, into the laundry room, and just, hide, right? So we go downstairs, we hide, and then my dad opens the door, and immigration comes in, handcuff my dad, they come in, guns blazing, that's how it is, and then they run downstairs. As they're coming downstairs into the laundry room, my mom looks at me and my brother, and she says, you guys need to go. You guys need to open the window and go, right? So open the window right when like immigration officers are coming in, and like I was the only one that made it out, and like I ran. I outran all these guys, right? They weren't that fast to begin with, but I went to my next door neighbor, didn't see me go there, I knocked on the door, and I told her what was going on, and she was so mad she let me in. She's like, yeah, come on in. I had no idea you had go to that. And I was like, I didn't either. And I watched as immigration brought my family outside of the house with their luggage, to send them back to Peru. So, long story short, I won't get into it all. We're good now. I became a citizen of the greatest country in the world when I was 24. And you know what's funny? This is kind of funny, but so this might always maybe I shouldn't have said that, but I always say it all the time because it just was coincidental that we got married when I was 24, and it was just that year that I got my citizenship. So it was a coincidence, but it really did take a long time. So that was the first thing that happened, and what that taught me for me was there was something in that moment that I'm like, man, I want power in my life. That was just a big driver for me. We all have different drivers, right? It's all about your life. It was that was a big thing. I'm like, man, if I have money, I can be powerful. And if I can be powerful, then I can stop from anything like this happening ever again. And so that was the first trigger in my mind. The second trigger that happened in my mind was that when I was 13 years old was when I first started working. I was my first job that I got, and I was working for a wealthy man. You'd think he wasn't wealthy because he was paying me $3 an hour at age 13, and I was working 9 to 5. This was during the summer, so I worked 9 to 5, $3 an hour, and but I've been paying my own way since I was 13. I'm purchasing back to school clothes and all those things. But I was at this man's house, and it's this big, beautiful, gorgeous house. It's cars in the driveway and everything. And I used to think
going to take me a really, really long time to get that. So when I got introduced to network marketing at 20 years old, I was like, are you kidding me? You're talking about a product that I could sell as many times as I want throughout the day. Right? One of my mentors said profits are better than wages, right? Who knows Jim Rohn here? Does anyone listen to Jim Rohn here by chance? Yes, you will listen to Jim Rohn network marketing. Go to YouTube and put Jim Rohn network marketing. And profits are better than wages because wages make you a living, but profits can make you a fortune. So I was like, are you kidding me? Like I can buy these products, I can resell them, I can make a little bit of money, I can make some profits, and it's up to me in terms of my own personal hustle that's going to be dependent on how much money I earn. But then when someone drew like a circle, because it was like the first presentation, I'm looking at this product and like I could outsell this product like crazy. And then when they talked about the circles, and they're like, yeah, and if you bring this person on and they sell the product with you, you collect a small overhead. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like that to me is my way out. Like that was my way out. Like that's what I want to do because I didn't want to go to college. I'm a college dropout. I felt my art class, and when I felt my art class, I was like, my gosh, if I felt art, I couldn't pass math, right? So I'm like, this ain't for me, so I dropped out. And so network marketing was my way out. So I'm like, profits are better than wages. Okay, that makes sense. And I can bring a group of people, we can all sell this product together, and I can get just a little bit of a road. I'm going to build this, and I'm going to build this. And so when you guys sit here looking at like me and Demetrius, it's like, oh yeah, like 9 months, all these records have been broken, whatever. This is like 11 years in the making. I didn't think it'd take this long. Right? Like I thought I was for sure going to get in there by my third month of the business, and it took like 2 years. When I was 20, I probably made like a accumulation of like maybe $700-800. It was so horrible. And how many of you guys have made like $200 in commissions in this company? Here's your hands, $100 or more. Gosh, you guys have completely outproduced my first year in network marketing, totally. But so I want to share a few things with you because I think that it could be your way out, right? Like I think we all have certain passions in life, so you don't have to be like a person that says, oh, I want to just do the epic. Maybe you have like different goals, different passions that you want to pursue, but time is getting in the way, and you know you could use a little bit of money. So when you build something bigger, the epic, and then you could actually walk away from it and still earn a commission, and you could go live your passions. I think that's why a lot of us are here today. So here's what I'm going to share with you. And you guys can write this down. What separates the wealthy from the poor? There can be a lot of different things, but I'll break down for you. First, become mentally rich and wealthy first, right? We already talked about that. But that's always first and foremost. Like until you're feeling wealthy, until you're actually that thing first, nothing's going to move for you. So that's the first thing, okay? They become enamored by something that comes in front of them. Whether it's a business idea, whether it's a network marketing business, they just fall in love with something that comes across. Like I came across my life thanks to Demetrius, and I never stopped like thinking about it, and I never had an end date. I specifically didn't have an end date because the first like 10 people that I talked about this business like laughed at me. And I remember the first person I gave a network marketing magazine to, and I said, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing. They ripped it up and said that ish doesn't work. I remember getting introduced to network marketing. My parents made it Demetrius for like the first 5 years, by the way, because I came home and I said, my parents were worried about me, right? And when I had like a family meeting and I said, you guys won't believe it, I found what I want to do for the rest of my life, right? So everyone needs to get home tonight. I got some big news. We're going to do some big things. And everyone got together, and they're excited because they're finding there's something that this kid is going to do. And I'm like, I got it. And I pulled out this magazine. I said, it's network marketing. And it was just like this disappointment. Like, hey, we came to America so that you go to college, and now you're doing network marketing. But I'm like, no, like this is it. But they don't believe in me, right? And I went and told my aunts and uncles, and I said, hey, I want to share this business product with you. And at the end of it, I mean, I knew it was wrong. Like the word was getting around time, right? Like, don't listen to them. Like, ain't going nowhere. And that business is never going to work. Fast forward now, 11 years later, everyone wishes they would have told me 11 years ago. So that's pretty cool. But the point is that I never had an end date. I fell in love with this business, and I'm like, I don't care how long it takes me. I don't care if it
success that I was looking for. I didn't have many, right? I hope you don't either, because it's not important that people buy your story. It's more important that you don't buy their story, right? And a lot of times you'll be in front of these people, they'll tell you that it doesn't work, they'll give you all the reasons, but what they're really saying is that you know when someone says, hey, it doesn't work, like you can't do that. Your reply has to be, no, you can't do that, because I can do anything, right? And so a lot of times people, it's not that they're wanting to hurt you, it's just that a lot of times they're scared for you, they're portraying their own personal beliefs or their own personal experiences on you. Don't buy their story, you can create your own story. So that's the next thing. They live and breathe their business, right? I just kind of covered that, but they live and breathe their business every single day. The next thing is that the wealthy live on production and commitment. Okay, production and commitment. From morning until night, they focus on something that they're passionate about, and they do it, and they do it, and they do it, and they do it, until the things on their calendar manifest. Okay? The next one I want to talk about is, because it's important to know, like, what to do or how to think, but it's also important how not to think. You know, Jim Lunn used to always say, like, the failures of life should go run around and do seminars, teach people exactly what not to do, because it's equally as important to know what not to do. But there are two major destroyers of life, and one of those destroyers is substance abuse, and the next one is outside media voices. But the wealthy become the media. Like, we're all controlled by media. Like, you turn on the TV, it's all negative news. You go walk around town, it's all negative stuff bombarding your world every single day. You can't drive down the street without your mind being mentally programmed by all the billboards and all the things happening out there, right? And so you have to fall in love with your business so much and you're so enamored by it that you don't have time to look at those things, and you also don't have time to hear outside voices. Like, I can tell you guys right now, I wish I knew more about sports. I really do, because then I'd have more in common to talk to people about. But I really don't. And it's not a bad thing, by the way. It's just for me, I was just so immersed in books. I was immersed in audios. I was immersed in my business. Like, I'd rather go talk for business for 5 hours or read a book for 5 hours than to go attend a basketball game. That's just my personality type. But it doesn't mean that you can't do those things. It just means that there's so much media out there already trying to get your attention day in and day out. Like, you can't go on Facebook without getting distracted. Literally, after like 3 seconds of hop out. Like, literally after 3, like, and I'm saying it because of my personal experience. Right? Like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm going to go across what I can do right now. I've gone on Facebook, and 45 minutes later, not a single thing has been accomplished, right? And we all have those things. So you have to fall in love with what you're doing. Get so focused on it that you start to vibe differently, that you start to emit a different kind of aura to other people. So that's the first page. Let's move on to the next one. One of the most powerful things that I was taught 11 years ago, and I was in a car, Demetrius was driving me, we were going to California, and I fell asleep, and I hated personal development, by the way. Like, I thought it was boring, I didn't like it, right? And it just took the right mentor. And so I'm in the car, and I hear this audio track playing, and I hear this distinct voice, and it was Jim Rohn, right? And I go back to a lot of teachings that he teaches, and one of the things that he said was that you can have more in life because you can become more in life, right? Like, we're not birds, and we're not trees, and we're not dogs and animals, right? Like, we're not, the difference maker between us and animals is that we do have the ability to think and choose what we do every single day, right? Because we can become more in life, right? For things to change, you have to change. Right? That's the variable is going to be you. Like, if you want your life to change, no one's going to come rescue you. 11 years, no, I would say 10 years in the game, I threw like a pity party because I was always in the game for 10 years and it's just not working out, but I hope someone would help me, whatever, right? And no one came to my rescue. And so in order for my situation to change, I have to change personally. It's not anything outward, it's the things that you're doing every single day. So do something in life that counts. Like, make an impact. Fall in love with making an impact. Right? Don't let your comfort get in the way of your calling. So many of us get comfortable, or we just sit there and we're okay with what we've got,
but we don't know that if we actually did a little bit more, the amount of lives that we could change. Fall in love with giving rather than getting. So many of us go into relationships to get, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that, I'm going to get. It's all get. Go into relationships to get. Go onto social media to get. I think the biggest, like I have so many people always ask me, hey man, how do you grow a follower on social media? Heck, I don't know. Like I never joined Facebook to say I want to have a big following. But what I did on Facebook that was uniquely different than what most attraction marketers do out there is I just spoke my truth day in and day out. I didn't care if it was failures that I had to talk about. I didn't care if life was just crappy. I was always speaking my own personal truth to myself. And you know what? People gravitated towards that because I never went onto Facebook thinking like I was perfect or posting the perfect thing. I was always just like, hey, this is my life. This is where I'm at. And people, like everyone that's followed me on social media for the last 5 years, they can vouch for it. They can say, I've seen that kid go from here to here. And so go speak your truth on social media. Instead of trying to create something, go document what you're doing every single day. If you have a great day, like whoever just got 100 invites today, and you can just say, I was challenged today, go send out 100 invitations, I did it, I got good feedback, let me know if you want to know what I said. Right? And then people will be messaging you nonstop saying, what did you say? How was it? And you start to build this following based on not who someone's telling you to be, not based on you just trying to look like a certain thing, but just being yourself, right? Two of the biggest diseases in life. Let's talk about two biggest diseases in life. Number one is doubt, number two is worry. Right? Too many of us spend years of life. Number one is doubt, number two is worry. Okay? Doubting yourself. I doubted myself way too long. Can I really do it? Is this really for me? It was almost like an indecision, right? When you're in an indecisive mode, nothing is going to happen for you. I was always 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You can ask my wife. They'd be like, oh, here's Monday. I'm going to hit it hard. I'm going to hit it hard. Tuesday, I was like, I don't know. I don't know if this is for me. Doubting myself. Is this the right company? Is this the right product? Is this the right compensation plan? Am I saying the wrong thing? Right? Did I post the wrong thing? Right? Too much doubt. Worry. Most of the worries that you think about never actually happen, but I spent so many days worrying. There's a book called Max Out where he talks about how most of us actually spend about a total of 8 years of our lifetime just worrying. How crazy is that? Like, the average person lives to be 85 years old, of those 85 years, I think it's like 24 that we spend sleeping, another 6 that we end up, or another 8 years that we end up just thinking about worries of life. So that's a total of about 32 years that we spent sleeping and worrying, right? And then it's like 4 or 5 years scrolling on Facebook that you actually spent living. So if someone came to me today and said they only had 8 years to live, how would you live your life? Would you spend your nights worrying? Would you spend your day doubting yourself? Would you feel bad about you? You're running the game. There's nothing else out there like leading by example. Being the best distributor in your organization. You don't have to be any of us, but be the best distributor for you, for your own organization. You have to be the best for you. You have to be the best for your team. Your team will never do what you say. Your team will only do what you do. So set higher standards. Work more. Like do the things that you know you're supposed to do. Like you want to motivate your team. You're not going to motivate them by messaging them every day saying, hey, so what you got today? What are you doing today? As a matter of fact, the more you do that, the more your team presents you. Right? Nothing is better. Nothing like the biggest cure in like motivating your team is getting out there and doing it, finding new stories, allowing your team to see that you're moving on without them. Right? When your team sees you putting on new stories, when your team sees you hitting race, now they're reaching out to you. It's not you reaching out to them. It's not you reaching out to them to say, hey, help me say, hey, what you got to cover, hey, who you're recruiting. When you're leading by example, when you're committed to being the best distributor for your team starts reaching out to you. Hey, what is it that you're doing? Hey, what's working for you? Hey, I see you're on fire, and I really want to be just like you. Like, how can I get there? How can I do it? Right? People watch what you do, right? And it's like they say, a great guy said, watch the feet, not the lips. Right, because everybody can talk, but not a lot of people actually do the activity. So get your brain in the game. The one question you can ask yourself at the end of every single day is, would you have followed you if you were the young one? Right? Every single day, like, would you follow you? Would you follow, like, would you want your team, like at the end of today, or any day, right? If you ask yourself, would you follow you? Would you want your team doing what you did today? Like, what was it? Maybe you talk to one person, maybe you complain all day. You know, we all have challenges, right? I'm not saying it's, you have to be perfect every day, but what I'm saying is like, at the end of every day, or if your team did exactly what you've done the last 30 days to build your business, would that end in you having a bigger business at the end of 30 days? And for the most part, for a lot of people, it's not. So what I'll end with is this. When we got started, it was all about desperation. I was so desperate in my life back in November, and we launched in December, but everything that I did back then was all that desperation. My back was against the wall. I was behind on everything in life, not just bills. I didn't know how to cover bills. I didn't know how to cover Christmas. I was behind on the bills that I had, but I was also behind on the promises of life that I had made to my wife and kids. My kids, they're still babies, but you know, they're to that point where they can see, okay, Dad, just need to go from this deal to that deal to that deal. What's different about this? You know what I mean? It's like my back was against the wall, and I really had something to prove. And it wasn't to prove to others, it was just more to prove to myself. And when it was time, guys, it was just time to change my life. No one can did it for me. You guys have to understand that the evidence has been around for 3.5 years, right? 3.5 years, probably 100,000 a month in volume in the U.S. Team Revolution comes in, and you guys explode this company to over $40 million in sales in 9 months. 40 million. Well, I'm not going to brag on the team a little bit. There's a lot of people watching on social media, but 40 million, over 40 million, close to $50 million in sales in 9 months. Team Revolution, okay? Over 70 people that have hit diamond. 70 people at the top rank of the compensation. 84,000 brand partners, 300,000 customers.
Woo! That's amazing.
On private Facebook group, I went from 4 people to, I think it's at 313,000 members in 9 months. Now, I want to say this because the reason why this is special is because every one of us is just like everyday, ordinary people, right? We're not networkers. We didn't fly people into a corporate office and say, I'm going to pay you to join, or hey, I'm going to give you this. Like, we don't sell big packages here. You don't have a product pack of $500. You don't have a product pack of $900. You know how we did over $40 million in sales? Was an $89 order for $99. That's it. There is no other company in existence in the history of network marketing. And you can argue all you want. Anyone watching that's not yet or there's some other deal, let me tell you this right now. There's not one single company in the history of network marketing that has done what Team Revolution has done in 9 months. So now that we're here, it's like, now my life isn't lived on desperation anymore. Now, for me and Demetrius, it's more about inspiration. Like, how do we go impact people, right? How do we go help others? And so I want to give you guys a few maybe ideas that can help your business grow. I gave you the first part of my talk was just all about like mindset and, you know, becoming more. And those things I feel like will change your business, because when you change, everything changes around you. But I want to give you guys a few business building tips that I think might help you. Okay, so the first concept that I want to share with you is this: is that the real superpower in life is that everything is just a few simple disciplines that you do every single day. It's not a list of 20 things. It's not a list of 50 things. I tell you guys right now, I am a college dropout. My brain is not wired to have to learn 100 things, right? Like when we order something from IKEA, I mean, it just sits there until she decides to put it together. Because I think looking at instructions, like it is the most terrifying thing for me. I'm like, I don't know how to put this chair together, and it's like 3 steps. But I'm like, I don't do none of that. So the cool you guys need to learn more. Like, you guys know it. You know what I mean? Like, there's not anything else. You really don't need to learn the compensation line even. Like I'm telling you guys right now, there's nothing else you guys need to know. It's just literally just a few things. Maybe 3 things, maybe 4, but it's not more than that. You don't have to learn 10, 20 things. So it's not about learning 100 things or 1,000 things. It's about learning those few little disciplines and doing those disciplines 1,000 times. So let me give you the first concept. The first concept is employing yourself. So write that down, employ yourself. Okay? And I love this concept because this is probably the most real concept that you can apply in your life. So let me ask you guys a question. How many of you guys, if I said, hey, if you talk to 3 people a day for the next 2 years, just 3 people a day, now someone did 100 today, a few did 100, but if I said, hey, you're going to talk to 3 people a day for the next 2 years, just 24 months, and if you do that, I personally will give you $100,000 a year for the rest of your life. How many of you would say yes to that plan? Yes. Everyone? Cool, right? Alright, so 3 people a day. So that concept is so powerful because if I came to you and I said, hey, okay, let's do this plan. Yeah, I'm going to pay you $100,000 for the rest of your life. You're going to talk to 3 people a day for the next 24 months. You would probably start off Monday, yeah, boom, got you free. Tuesday, boom, got you free. Wednesday, got you free. Thursday, got you free. Friday, got a little bit busy. You maybe took kids to school late, maybe you had some activities planned, maybe you had moving night planned, and you talk to 2 people. But you're like, you know what, it's going to get up on Saturday. I'll talk to 4 people on Saturday. And then I'm sitting there in the driveway telling you, no, it's not the deal. I said 3 people a day, not 2 people. And 4 people, I said 3 people a day. So like, okay, well, I'll start again tomorrow. 3 people a day, 3 people a day. I'm like, okay, I'm going to need 1 more shot here. 3 people a day. It wouldn't take another 4 or 5 days before you just miss 1 more time, right? And the crazy part about that is that that's a real analogy. Most people come into this business and they're like, hey, I'm going to be full time. I'm an entrepreneur, okay? But as an entrepreneur, especially in network marketing, you need to hire yourself as the best employee of your own personal BFA company, right? You're the CEO of your own BFA company, right? BFA is a company, but you are a company with your own company. As a company owner, you have to employ yourself as the best distributor, as the best employee. Because of what happens a lot of times in life is people know how to be good employees, right? They know how to be their 9 to 5, but then all of a sudden they become business owners, and guess what? They don't really have the habits that creates a successful business. But one of those habits is, what you don't know is that it's actually the first habit that you already had, which was work 9 to 5. Right? Now, I'm not saying you have to work 9 to 5 every day, okay? But what I'm saying is, like, what are those 3 simple things? So the first thing is talking to 3 people a day. So let me ask you guys a question. Forget the money for 1 minute, okay? Because in life, it's not about the money, it's about who you become. I think that's the most powerful thing, right? It's who you become, right? So if you're talking to 3 people every single day for 1 year, that's over 900 conversations that you have. Do you think that after 1 year, you'd be a better presenter? Do you think that you'd be a better recruiter? Do you think that you'd be a better advisor? Do you think that your confidence level would go from here to like boom, right here? Do you think you'd bring more authority into every conversation you have? People always ask, how do I get more confidence? It's all in the activity. If you talk to 3 people every single day for a year, I'll tell you what right now, here's a few things that will happen. Number 1 is, you might not gain the momentum that you want your first week, or your second week, or your first month. But here's what's going to happen. I'm going to give you guys some real numbers so you can write these down, and if these don't work for you, you can have a conversation. 3 people a day, it's about 900 people, okay? Let's say you took a couple weekends off, yeah, Christmas, whatnot. 3 people, 900 conversations. At the worst ratio, you're going to recruit 10% of those people. Okay, I was the worst ratio, man. I had to talk to so many people to just get one to tell me yes. And before I even celebrated, I really could. So, 3 people a day for your 910%, 90 people. Let me tell you what's exciting about sponsoring 90 people. My mentor told me that if I sponsor 30 people into a business, I would go full time. Why? Because he said this, he said out of 30 people that you personally bring into a business, half half of them are going to quit right off the bat. There's nothing that you can say or do to keep them in, and it has nothing to do with you or your product or your business. It's just people, right? Like 30 people to enter a marriage, half go to college, half don't graduate, right? It's just nothing. There's no motivation talk, no inspiration talk that you can give. From the other half that are left over out of 15, there's going to be 12 or 13 that do a little bit more. Maybe get one customer, maybe get two customers, maybe get no customers, but they stay on auto ship every single month. You're going to love those people because that's 85% of your business, right? You don't judge people based on rate, right? So typically at a 30, you're going to be left with one or two that want to build a business of 100, 200, 300 people, and that gets you full time into network marketing. Those are the numbers, and they work every time that you haven't done it long enough, right? So make sure that you set up your business plan and you say, hey, you know what? This is a guaranteed business plan taught by some of the top legends of network marketing. And here's a simple plan that will take you to full-time network marketing. Two simple things, okay? Number one is sell the product at every opportunity moment. Robin was talking about that earlier. Like, you're not going to say, hey, I'm only going to sell my product at 70, or sorry, you're only selling 4 to 5. No, you don't do that, right? You're going to sell your product at every opportune moment. There's so many ways to sell your product. You can post on Facebook, hand out little list cards that say get paid to lose weight, text me. There's so many things that you can use to get a customer base. Very simple, right? How many of you guys have at least 2 customers in this company? That's awesome. Is that everyone?
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy. Okay. So that's that was kind of a sweet question to ask for most companies. That's just not really happening. So that's the first thing. Sell the product at every opportunity moment. Okay, the second thing is this, and this is probably going to be the most challenging thing for you, but if you get it done, financial freedom is in the name. Okay? Sponsor 10 people a month for 3 months. 10 brand partners every month for 3 months. Next month. Right? That doesn't mean 12 people this month and only 8 people next month. That means literally at a bare minimum, 10 people a month every month, just for 3 months. Okay? What if this month's your first month? October, November, 10 people. December, 10 people. With what's coming October 24th, with what's coming on Black Friday, with what's coming in December, your 2021 financial freedom is in the bag. If that's a simple business plan that you drive for the next 90 days, I'm not going to tell you it's going to be, easy. It's going to take work. It's going to take effort. But remember one thing: it all comes down to numbers. To become a millionaire, it's all numbers. So what's the number? If you had to talk to 100 people in a month to talk to them about the business, only 10% said yes. That's only 100 people. That's 25 people a week. That's like 3 people a day, Monday through Saturday, I think, if my math is off. But something like that. Let's say 3 people a day. That's it. How long does it take to message 3 people a day? Like 2 minutes. 3 people a day for a month might get you 10 people that you sponsor. Maybe it'll take you 120 reach outs, right? But the point is it's those simple habits that could allow you to gain financial freedom by January. So anyways, back to the concepts here that I'm talking about. It's just those simple things. A lot of us are always looking for the hour to think, hey, what am I doing wrong? And the thing is that sometimes we're always asking or we're looking for the wrong answer. So let me give you an example. We've seen this like wave of online marketing. We've seen this wave of attraction marketing for the past 5-6 years. Do I like it? Yes. The one thing that I do not like about attraction marketing is that people will get into the business and they will literally say, gosh, I'm not as good as that person because they have 40 likes and I only have 5 likes. Guys, that is so far from the truth. I've met people that are $1 million earners that might get 2 or 3 likes a post. Don't ever judge yourself based off the amount of likes, because that has 0 relevance when it comes down to who you are in life. Right? That's the one thing that I always dislike. And that's what we put together the Epic. It was like, hey, we want to be a company of people. I want to be able to meet a truck driver at a gas station and have him walk away knowing exactly how to go out there and break down in this company. And it wasn't going to be about saying, hey, make sure you go do a Facebook Live tonight and talk about watering your tomatoes. Right? Like, it's weird. This like whole thing of like, now I'm not saying it's bad, like watering tomatoes is your thing, like watering tomatoes, right? But the point that I'm trying to make is that it's never going to be the social media picture that you post, and it's never going to be the Facebook Live that you do. What's always going to carry you in this business is going to be your character. And that character is only ever built upon the concepts that we're talking about. Daily reach outs, daily follow-ups, employing yourself, working harder on yourself than you do in your business, working harder on yourself than you do at your job, right? Knowing that for things to change, you have to change. Those are the key core concepts that are always going to change your life 10 times faster than any Facebook post or social media post that you'll ever make. I'll end with a couple more things. Last fast, right? There's like a quote by Elon Musk. I don't even know the exact quote, but he says, why set a goal that you're going to hit in 20 years? Why not set a goal to hit it in the next 4 months? Because even if you don't hit it, like you might get 10 times closer than if you would have set it for 20 years from now. Right? And so I want to just move really, really, really fast. I believe in my mind that we could come into this company and we can become millionaires fast. Now, maybe that's not your path, that's okay. But whatever goal you have, right? 5 is move fast towards it. You have to believe that it can happen. Try to move fast. So when we got started in the I called a great mentor of mine, Larry Thompson. He's probably watching on Facebook right now. And I asked him, I said, hey, listen, man, this Sunday, I'm in Richmond. I'm planning on covering this, and that. And before I could even finish my sentence, he said, if you're already training, you're doing it all wrong. He's like, you have to keep it so dang simple that anybody that is even remotely how to get customers, a training on how to get distributors, a training on how to launch distributors, a training on social media, a training on offline marketing, all these trainings, people are going to be like, right, we got 4 months, we're going to learn all this stuff. Like, people have to know that they're good enough right now. Why did Uber blow up? Why did Lyft blow up? It's because they didn't have this big training manual saying, hey, this is how you get started. And by the way, when you're ready, no, they said download and app start right? So when we got started in Epic, it was just like reaching out, like little reach outs, less is more. You don't have to get big paragraphs. Hey, have you heard of this Epic people or not? Hey, would you like to lose weight while you sleep at night? Hey, I just joined this private Facebook community that's teaching you how to lose weight while you sleep at night. Like little things that you can just say out to people that make people come into you. And then you just add to the Facebook group. That's all it is, just a little bit, just moving really, really, really fast. Because I learned a long time ago that if you want people to chase you, like if you want people to chase you, you have to move on without them. There's more, I promise you this, there's nothing more attractive about an individual than when they're not sitting there like, here, ready, but you're watching, holy crap, they just moved on. They're this or that. Like, you know how many people we have reaching out to us now because they're like, we want to know what's going on, right? And we never reached out to these people, but in the beginning it was just moving on really, really fast, moving on without them, and it caused them to chase us and say, okay, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. Move really, really fast every single day. How many of you guys got the email, the Team Revolution email on the Epic 500 reset? Okay? So that right there is literally the entire pinnacle of what you ever need to do and follow to build whatever kind of business you want to be epic, and I'll prove that to you. So, a couple things. Number one is when you come into the business and you get to Epic 500, right? That's just $500 in commissions. Okay, that's awesome. If you find 2 people that you bring into the business as brand partners, okay, and they do the same thing, they hit Epic 500, and then they bring on their 2. That only has to repeat 12 times for you to build $1 million a year business. And you only ever sponsor 2 people. You brought in 2, they got 2, they got 2, 12 times deep, $1 million a year. Now, that's crazy because there's no other compensation plan where that can happen. For other compensation plans, you better sponsor when you get moving. So in our business, it's not just about sponsoring, it's about duplication and multiplication. Right? 2 who get 2 who get 2. So the reason we did the Epic 500 reset was because we want every single one of us to reset, to get people that want to join, help them go Epic 500 and get 2 new people, and just continue to follow that path. If you become a factory in terms of like all you're producing from your factory every day is Epic 500 and 2 new brand partners, guys, your business is going to explode. But the question is, how do you do that? Right? And our entire getting started platform is very simple. Use, talk, demo. I want you guys to write that down. Use, talk, demo. When you go to sleep,
Go to sleep thinking, use top demo. When you go to the bathroom, use top demo. When you wake up, think about use top demo. And you take this concept and apply it, this is all that will build your business. So the first thing is use. You have to gain your emotional experience in the product. Use the products every single day. How many in this room absolutely love the products? Raise your hand. How many people on social media love the products? Drop a 1 on Facebook if you love the product. So that's the first thing. So congratulations, you're going to know the first step to building your business. Just use the dang products. Most companies in network marketing are backwards. Hey, fall in love with the business. Who cares if you consume the products? Like, what kind of business idea is that? Right? Use the products every single day. Fall in love with them every single day. Recreate your own new emotional experience. Jessica was just, this morning she woke up with a headache, right? She pulls it off really well, so she doesn't talk about it, but she had a headache, and then she took something from the lobby, and what was it?
Excedrin.
Nothing happened.
For real.
And it's kind of bad that I would be saying use a product that I didn't have in my hand. But the point is that is a brand new emotional experience for her. Emotional experience, use the product, okay? Number 2 is talk. This is where people get scared. Well, what do I talk about? Do I talk about the compensation plan? Do I talk about the ingredients? No, all product experience. You talk about other people's experience. You talk about your business experience. Gosh, I'm on my 10th customer. I just made $500, right? You only talk experiences. People don't care about all the details, right? Talk is a concept. Talk can mean various things. For example, what I mean by talk is me say something or do something that will get someone to raise their hand and say, yeah, I want more information, right? So talk can mean post something on TV, hanging out with this talk structure with me. Talk can mean anything you want that gets people to say, I want to know more, right? That's it. The third thing is demo. Demo simply stands for demonstration, right? Demonstrate something. What do we like to demonstrate? We like to demonstrate the 100% epic group. That's my favorite tool that I use as well. Just ATM, my face off every single day. Just add people to that group, add people to that group, add people to that group. That's all you have to do. And if you use Top Demo every single day, there's no way you're not getting Epic 500. There's no way you're not bringing in 2 new brand partners. When we got started, this is how powerful it was. When we got started, we were so dang busy. We didn't have 45 minutes to spend talking to one person. I had people messaging me saying, hey, that link you sent me, I just signed up. What do I do now? Can you call me so we can talk for an hour? Well, what are we going to talk about for an hour? I said, hey, check this out. I'm on a call right now, but go add 30 people to the 100% Epic group and then go check their e-wallet and tell me if there's money in there. That's all we did. And what was crazy, we didn't know if that worked, but what was crazy was that it was working. Like, people were adding people to that group and they were getting commissions. How many of you have used that group to earn commissions in this company? Right, most of us, right? Like, that is such a money maker. Why? Because it's just people going through different experiences, right? So what I'm going to end with today is this, and I think that this is also something like this is also to like set proper expectations and to help people prepare. But by the way, I'm not like an expert at the Bible at all. Like, I should know more. I should read it more. It just happens. I do feel like I have a very strong relationship with God. That was the first, like, back in December when I got started, we were reaching out to people. I remember one of the first things I did, I woke up one morning and I just closed my eyes and I told God, like, I need help. Like, I talked to my girl, like, I need help. I'm like, you got to bring me some leaders. And that day, 2 women got started in business and they created the momentum. Wendy, Hilton, and Jennifer Hopper, they grew a team of like 400 people in like a few weeks. And I was like, well, let's try that again, maybe it's more leaders, you know? But it was one of those things where I felt like I needed help, right? So we can't go wrong in asking for help. But what I was going to say to that in regards is that, so like in the Bible and like, you know, Jesus is like the best networker in the world, right? Because he turned his first 12 months, built a massive organization, right? And so, Jesus training the 12 disciples, right? Just training them, doing his thing. And when he was ready to send them off to start preaching the good word, he said, "Now listen here, gentlemen. Before you go, there's one thing I have to say. And one thing I want to tell you is that as you go out there and you knock on doors and you share this message, I want you to remember that not every door is going to be of your accord. Meaning that not everyone is going to accept the message. Not everyone is going to say yes." Same thing here. As you guys go off after this event and you start reaching out to people, you might send out 100 messages. Guess what? Maybe everyone says no. And that has nothing to do with you. The only thing that you're responsible is for what he said next. And next thing he said was that, he said, so when you leave, make sure that you shake every grain of sand from your shoe. Why would he say that? I don't know why he would say that. But as I read different books, the interpretation is, well, it's because if you leave a little grain of sand in your shoe, not much might happen. But as you keep going from door to door, and another grain of sand goes in there, 3 grains of sand, eventually starts to create a little bit of discomfort. And if you ignore it, you don't shake it off, then eventually it turns like a blister. And if you keep ignoring it, it can turn into an infection. And if you keep ignoring it, you can end up in the hospital, and you might have to amputate your foot. So make sure that when you leave today, guys, you know that you're reaching out to people and you're building your business. Not everyone is going to hear the message, and that's okay. Don't get upset. Just make sure that you shake every grain of sand from your shoe. Don't allow any rejection stay in you so long that it creates an infection inside of you that allows someone else's opinion stay in so long that they quit and eventually said this thing doesn't work. I think that we're making a big difference, and it's no longer an opportunity, it's a responsibility that we should share this message with every single one, every single day. So that's my message. Thank you so much for staying on, and actually, let's see. Oh yeah, I forgot. One more thing. So we want to give away to 2 families $500. Okay, one family here, one family in social media. So I want to ask a question, and so you guys can tell me. Do you guys know anyone here, any family? Maybe it's not you, but maybe it's like a friend or someone that you know. It doesn't have to live in Nashville. Do any of you know a family that is in need of $500? Anyone? Okay. You know somebody? Okay. Know somebody? All right. I don't know how to fit. Okay. So why don't you 2 ladies come up here real quick? We can class. It's not awkward. Okay, so here we're going to do, we'll just give away $1,500. So we'll do $500 to someone on Facebook, $500 for a family that you know, $500 for a family that you know. So just talking afterwards. Okay, so Epic Acts of Kindness, just so you guys know, it's not just about money, it's about just doing like an act of kindness. At least once a month, right? It could be smiling, or it could be, helping someone load up the groceries, it could be opening the door for somebody, whatever it is. For us, we're so financially, we've been so blessed, and it's like we feel like we should give back. So we'll give away $500 here, $500 here. Just let me know afterwards. And on social media, if anyone needs $500, just screenshot it. The first person that posts up, just screenshot it. Let me know, and we'll get in contact with you guys, and we'll send $500. So thank you so much. And I guess
No, hold on, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, let's do that.
okay. Cool. So yeah, the board. I think that we have everyone's like minds like in sync, and you guys are all thinking about something powerful. It really raises the vibration. Typically, I do this with music, but I guess what I'll do is I'll have everyone stand up real quick.
Okay. So, yeah, usually do this with music, there won't be music, so you have to hear next line afterwards, okay? Okay, so everyone close your eyes. That it is 12 months from today. So it's not October 3rd, 2020, it's October 3rd, 2021. Okay? And you wake up today just so grateful. You wake up so grateful because when you wake up today, you wake up and you're in an executive suite company convention. And at this company convention, the blessing is that there's going to actually be 5,000 people at this company convention. But when you wake up, you're even more grateful and also a little bit nervous because you are the main speaker at the. And as you wake up in your executive suite, you're in the master bedroom, and you see the beautiful city that hits you, and you say, "Gosh, I'm so grateful. I'm grateful that despite every single one that doubted me, despite all the challenges that happened, and maybe people told me no, maybe people quit. There was all these challenges I faced during these last 12 months. I'm so grateful that I didn't quit. I didn't give up. I kept going. I kept going." You get some tears in your eyes because you're just so grateful of everything happening in your life. And in that moment, what happens is the door opens to your bedroom, and it's your family. And they all come in, and they just like run at you and kind of tap you to the floor, and they're, bringing us on this trip. Thank you so much for renting out this executive suite. We can't believe how much your life has changed. We can't believe these things have happened. You're crying even more because you just can't even express what's happened over these last days. For the events, and you get ready for the events, and you're sitting there in front of the stage. Dan Putnam, the owner of the company, is on stage right now, and he's going to bring you a main speaker of the night. And as he's talking about your story, as he's talking about how amazing leader you are, you can't help but think about all the nights that you stayed up late, all the days you stayed up, or you woke up early. You're so grateful that now you're living in your dream home, you're with your family, you're at this event, and they get to celebrate you for the first time. They get to see that this is actually real for you. And finally, Dan Putnam says, "Everyone, please help me give a big welcome." And he calls your name. And when he calls your name, everyone just screams and cheers really loud for you. And I want everyone right now, on the count of 3, to scream, cheer as loud as you can, and celebrate your own victory. 1, 2, 3. See you guys October 24th in Salt Lake City.